Hi, Daelyn.
Yeah, let's take a photo.
Can you say hi to Chris?
Hi, Chris. Hi. Because don't be hilarious.
What would be hilarious?
Mom. Boo.
Are you trying to scare us?
Boo.
Ah! You scared me.
You gotta do it right though.
Boo.
Ready? Look, watch Chris. No, you gotta act scared.
Boo!
You gotta be scared. You gotta say, ah!
Ah.
Was that scary?
You gotta tell him the joke. Tell him your cactus joke.
Why
Say-
it gets...
No. You gotta keep giving away the punchline.
We can make us
Say-
scared.
Tell him the cactus joke. Why don't you say, why don't you touch a cactus? Ask him. Ask him. You could... Because you're thinking of the punchline.
Hey, Daelyn.
Why you can't touch the cat?
There you go.
Why can't I touch a cactus?
Why can't he touch the cactus?
It gets poked.
Because poke?
It gets pokey.
That's so silly. Do you know any other jokes?
Why you touch the cactus?
Why can't you touch the cactus?
Why can't you touch the cactus?
Yeah.
Because it gets
pokey.
Tell him about the cookie. Why did the cookie go to the doctor?
Nigga sick.
It was feeling
sick.
crummy.
Crummy. Well, why you can't touch the cactus?
Why can't you touch the cactus?
Because it gets pokey.
Wait for a photo.
Ready for your photo?
Yeah.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, cheese. Great photo.
See?
Now, 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, cheese. You want to direct it?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Direct it.
1, 2, 3.
Cheese.
Yeah.
What is the most important thing for others to know about Daelyn?
Why you can't touch the cactus?
As far as her disease or just who she is as a person?
In general, what's the first thing that pops into your mind when I ask that question?
I think my favorite thing about her is
why you
how-
can't touch the cactus?
she's always generally happy, always wanting to connect with people, and she has this beautiful way of showing people how the little things matter, like the simple things. Loving on animals, checking out plants, bubbles.
Why we don't touch the cactus?
Yeah, because it gets... Dad jokes on repeat. Gets pokey. You have to tell the cookie one.
Mia, why did you say to the doctor?
Why did the cookie go to the doctor?
Crummy.
You gotta say, because it was feeling crummy.
You're crummy.
No, because it was feeling crummy. Because
It's crummy.
it's crummy.
Why you can't touch the cactus?
Because it gets pokey.
Chris, sit.
I'll sit there.
Ready, say cheese.
Cheese. Hi, Daelyn. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm happy to be here with you.
Me just don't get that yeti.
You saw a Yeti? Hey, Daelyn.
1, 2, 3,
Cheese. Why was the cactus feeling sad?
Because we can't touch the cactus with spikes.
Why can't we touch the cactus?
Because
Because it was feeling pokey. Poke, 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 poke. What is it like to be Daelyn's dad? So-
Sorry, out
You know how
the
most kids
door.
grow up and you miss things as they'll kind of develop, they become more mature, they can move away from you. So like Daelyn's always, as she's grown up,
What?
she's always in that young, wondrous world, wants to engage with you, like parents are the best. It's amazing because you never lose that.
Does Daelyn love bubbles?
She does love bubbles.
Can I try?
Yes, you can. You ready? Oop, let's try again. Go.
What is Daelyn's
Yeah.
diagnosis?
Her diagnosis
Can I do
is a disorder
It's my
of
turn.
it's your turn. FBXW11.
Why do you try?
And how, let's turn so you can, if you pull it up like this, now blow. Just blow through the hole. Go ahead. Good job. Ready? Then dip it, and now try again. Yeah, girl.
Good job, Daelyn.
So the best way that I try to explain
Now
it
it's Chris' turn.
I can blow a bubble.
Go ahead. Do you want to go take it to her? Go ahead, take the container. Here you go.
And pull the bubbles, make a wish.
Okay, I'm gonna make a wish. Ready? Here, I'm gonna hold it this way so I don't blow it right on you.
Yeah, girl. The best way that I explain it to people is that we all have the FBXW11 gene, all of us. Every cell has a set of instructions, which is your genetic coding. And that's your blueprint for what your cells need to do. Your FBXW11 gene is your little helper that translates that and tells the cells what they need to do to grow and work properly. So even though they call it an FBXW11 disease, it's really a disorder of the gene. So basically what's happening with Daelyn at a very cellular level is the FBXW11 gene cannot translate the blueprint that the genetic code says needs to be followed. So therefore, when it goes to build certain cells, it just doesn't form correctly. She just had a birthday. She just turned 16. And her favorite thing is to blow out birthday candles. So you gotta watch it when you have a birthday because she'll blow out your candles too. Won't you, Daelyn? Won't you? Do you like to blow up birthday candles?
Daelyn, when you blow out birthday candles, do you make a wish?
Yeah, I did make a wish.
What did you wish for?
I wish for...
What did you wish for?
I wish for Cinder.
You wished for what?
I wish for Cinder.
What's that? Can you tell me more about that?
Cinder is a fire unicorn.
Oh, a fire unicorn. Cinder. Okay. Did you get her?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah?
Is that from a TV show or movie?
No. What is a Yeti? What is a Yeti?
What is a Yeti?
Tell me about the way that Daelyn communicates.
So Daelyn learned to communicate through using scripts of her favorite TV shows and movies. What's really cool though is because she's so high social and has such a strong desire to communicate, she's always very effectively used scripting appropriate. So a lot of times when she's using lines, it's an appropriate way to like connect with people. So it's always been a really cool, fascinating thing to see what she scripts from.
Let the pumpkin roll away.
The pumpkin rolled away?
It's time to call the super wings.
Should we say bye to the pumpkin?
But then it's time to call the super wings.
It's time to call
The super wings.
because the pumpkin rolled
Away.
away.
It's time to
Call the super
wings.
wings.
we just talk about the Dragon Festival.
You want to talk about the Dragon Festival?
No,
Is that also from the
Yeah.
Super Wings?
no, because we gotta watch out for the pumpkin roll.
What other TV shows do you like?
Because of the pumpkin roll.
The Pumpkin Roll?
That's called the whale attack.
The Whale Attack?
Yeah. No, the pumpkin roll. It's time to call the
Super Wings.
And we've taught her over the years to expand her communication. So sometimes when she scripts from certain movies, if you ask her for more details or you ask what movies it's from, she can actually tell you now where she couldn't. So it's a really cool thing for her to be able to connect with people just talking about the favorite things that she likes to watch. So I always encourage people when they first meet her and interact with her, as I say, hey, when she scripts, she's usually saying something from a movie. So if you don't understand, just ask her to tell you more about it and ask about the character she's talking about. And she'll usually try to do that. What's your favorite movie?
Nightmares on the Super Wings.
No, what's your favorite movie?
I don't know.
That's a good answer. Fair. Would it be Planes? What about Fire and Rescue?
I don't know. What is a Yeti?
What is a Yeti?
See, that's called the pumpkin roll.
What TV show is that from?
The show for the Super Wings.
Super Wings, is that a TV show?
Yeah, we gotta watch out for the pumpkin rolled away.
They say that in Super Wings?
Yeah, the pumpkin rolled away.
Are you saying the pumpkin rolled away?
Yeah. Then it's time to call the Super Wings.
When you watch Super Wings, the episode about the pumpkin rolling away, how do you feel?
Happy.
How many other people in the world have the same diagnosis?
From our understanding clinically, we've been told there's only 38. Yeah, she's one of 38. And she's only one of a few that is verbal, that can talk. I predominantly speak English, and if someone gave me directions to build something in Latin, I might be able to discern certain ways of building something, but it's not going to look correct because I can't understand the language. And that's essentially what the disorder of XBXW11 is doing to her, is that it can't process the genetic instructions to be able to tell all of her cells to do what they need to do correctly.
How long will Daelyn blow bubbles for?
When she gets going, she'll probably try to do it until the container's empty. She has not, one of the things we found is she can get oversaturated with things. So what we do to keep her stimulated is we rotate through things that we know are like a top 5 or 10 things that she loves, and that way when we recycle back to it, it's just as exciting to her. It's like Christmas. You know, her getting to play with a big thing of bubbles today is a big deal. Yeah. Usually we don't give her the whole container. Yeah.
And it's pop.
Pop.
What are some of the other activities you will cycle through?
Books, TV shows, songs, toys, pictures. What we essentially have to do is when we realize sometimes what can happen is she gets to a point where she gets really obsessed with things, and then it becomes almost like a dysfunctional attachment where she becomes so obsessed with it, it can interfere with her desire to want to engage a certain way. So if we find that if we rotate through things, it can kind of bring back her engagement.
Why you can't touch the cactus?
Why can't you touch the cactus? Do you know what I would say if I touched the cactus?
Because the pumpkin rolled away.
Way! If I touched the cactus, I would say, ow! Ouchie! Ouchie wawa!
But the pumpkin rolled away.
The pumpkin rolled away?
the pumpkin roll.
Where did it go?
Because Jeff was called the Super Wings.
I heard in addition to Super Wings, you also like cars
No.
and planes?
No, Super Wings.
Is Super Wings your favorite show right now?
Yeah.
Why do you like Super Wings?
Yeah, because the pumpkin roll.
Is that your favorite episode?
Yeah, because there was an avalanche.
Did the pumpkin roll away because there was an avalanche?
Yeah, the Yeti quest.
The Yeti caused the avalanche that made the pumpkin roll away?
No, that's called the pumpkin roll.
What characters were in the episode?
The Super Wings stopped the pumpkin.
That sounds like a really funny episode. Tell me about all of your pets outside and how they benefit Daelyn.
So we have a variety of pets. So we've got horses, dogs, cats, barn cats. We've got a kangaroo, and we've got a wallaby.
A wallaby.
She loves life, like people and animals' life, and she's always wanted to interact and love on things. And so all the animals we have, she's learned to adapt because she'll interact with all the animals differently. So she's learned to adapt depending on the animal and even the personalities of the animals. So it's a really cool thing to see her interact with the animals around the farm.
Kristen.
You introduced Chris to who your friend is? Who is this?
I see the moon.
You see the moon? Who is that, Daelyn?
Pocket.
Pocket. Do you want to show him how you walk, Pocket?
Show me how to walk.
Go ahead. Can you come this way? Daelyn.
Careful, don't step before
Look at me.
you.
Daelyn, look at me. Go this way. There you go. Good job. That's it. Daelyn. There you go. Take him in a circle. Good job. Okay, what do you do when you want to stop? What do you tell him?
Oh.
Want to give him a hug?
I love it too, Pocket. Pocket, what are you doing here? I thought it. Why are you looking at me like that? I said, don't be hilarious. That sounds like a helicopter.
So what's really cool that you're getting to hear is, if you notice, she's just talking to them, and so she's one of the cool therapeutic things about the horses and the animals in general is she'll practice speech with them, and because there's just no judgment, just unconditional regard, you know, she has this wonderful interaction with them, and she just talks to them and practices her speech, and they just let her do it and love on her.
Where's the tail Pocket? Look, I see a helicopter up there.
See a helicopter?
Yeah.
A big part of the role that the animals play too is a significant part of her joy and her happiness is secure attachment. And the animals have played an absolute vital role on her emotional regulation and to be met with this unconditional regard that animals have towards people. And how amazingly safe is that for a child to feel secure in something that there's no judgmental energy. And so her ability to have that secure attachment has allowed her to explore making mistakes without judgment, explore speech, explore touch, you know, and processing that world around her and just feeling secure in that, no matter whether it's, you know, the dog or the horses, they just all meet her with that genuine regard. And that is significant because don't we all want to feel that?
This is a story about cars and outer stairs. This is a story about
This is a story about Daelyn.
This is a story about Mayor Rose to the moon. This is the story of Pocket. Yeah, wow.
Good job. Now turn. You turn. Good job. And come back towards me. There you go. Good job. And then what do you want to do when you want him to stop? You say, whoa. Can you make him back up? Good job. Can you give him a pat and tell him, good boy? Aw, a hug is good too.
That's Delilah.
So you can really see what's really cool is like the way we've been able to layer in her perception of the world, like just the simple everyday things that we take for granted in our speech of like learning what going away from us means, going to the right, going to the left. I've been able to use the horses to teach her spatial awareness. You know, like when she's riding or leading, I can say, go to the right, go to the left.
I don't know much about kangaroos. How is she able to interact with the kangaroo?
So she can walk up and pet him and hug him, and she loves to feed them their favorite snacks, which is wheat thins. They love wheat thins, so she'll feed them crackers. What are you doing?
I acted like a wallaby.
You're acting like a wallaby? I guess that's the first time I've ever heard that wallaby do that.
Here, I'm gonna act like a wallaby too.
Do you want to pet him?
Sure.
He's very soft, like velvet.
Just on the back?
Yep.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. Daelyn, here. Here, call Shadow. Call Shadow.
Shadow.
He's like, what is Chris? He's wondering what Chris is doing.
Selfie.
Show Shadow what you have. There you go. Show Shadow what you have. There you
To put it
go.
in his mouth.
Yeah.
Do you want to pat him? Come here. Do you want to pat him?
That sounds like a cat.
Do you want
It
to
is.
pat him? I also think it's a sensory thing too, even like, so the kangaroo, for example, has a very soft velvet coat, so she loves, to rub on him. The fact that the animals are very genuine and that they seek people out, so she loves, there's no rejection in animals. Yeah, there, good job. He wants another. He wants another.
Say ah.
Say ah.
Say ah.
There you go. Good job wiping that turd off you.
Good boy.
We used to get to open his mouth.
Does she always say ah when feeding the animals?
She does sometimes when she's feeding them. Yep. She likes to narrate what they're supposed to do.
Should I look at the photograph?
Yeah, you can look at this is the screen where we can see ourselves. Ta-da!
Say cheese.
Cheese! There we are. 2 new friends.
That's called the pumpkin roll.
The pumpkin roll?
It's time to call the super wings. Because we gotta watch out for an avalanche.
What would you say if there was an avalanche? Would you go, yay, or would you go, ah?
There's another super wing coming.
If I saw an avalanche, I would go, ah, avalanche!
But there's another super wing coming.
Super Wing sounds like a great show. I have a question for you.
What is called the pumpkin roll?
Do you think an avalanche is cold or hot?
It's cool.
I know that Daelyn likes scripting TV shows and movies. Can sometimes it be all-consuming for her?
Yes. So easily what you can see is something that becomes a pleasure for her becomes an obsession really quickly, and so it can kind of take her, so what I tell people is she actually gets dysregulated. So you have to always find that balance of where something brings her joy as a positive reinforcement, but not tilting so far that she's perseverating so much that she can no longer regulate and interact effectively.
You were watching Daelyn and I have a conversation.
Yes.
Gummy bears. That looks yummy. Are you going to boink me in the nose with them? Oh, you're gonna feed me?
Can you tell him? What are you trying to do?
Thank you. That's, I love gummies.
Say
Are you Doctor? Dr. Daelyn? Yummy in my tummy.
What are you feeding him?
It's a cookie.
What are you feeding him?
It's a fruit.
The fruit snacks.
That was yummy. Thank you for giving me a fruit snack.
That's called the poke roll.
So is that scripting right now what she's doing?
Mm-hmm.
Is it okay to let her script?
So, to an extent, we try to minimize it because it'll be relentless.
Mhm.
And then when it becomes relentless, kind of like an addiction, she becomes so obsessed with it, she can't transition into another part of the conversation or something else. So one of the things that we try to do is try to redirect that, because otherwise she will say it repeatedly and repeatedly and repeatedly, and it's because she wants it. So what she would like,
She wants to watch it?
she wants to watch it, and and I think she sees the pictures in her head, because sometimes we know when we've let her, when we've turned on certain shows, she'll want a specific point in that show, because she's seeing it in her head.
Thank you, so yummy.
Say
Yum. I love fruit snacks. Now the genetic condition is the overarching diagnosis, but are there many other diagnoses under that?
Yep, so autism is a clinical mental health diagnosis, and so she has that as well. So she's on the spectrum. She was born with 5 holes in her heart, so she was seeing a cardiologist for many years. We actually thought she'd end up needing surgery to interfere, but somehow she ended up, her heart ended up being able to close those holes all by itself, miraculously.
FBXW11 is a genetic disorder that affects the proteins in the body, and then how all the different parts of the body come together and form and then work. Because everything starts at the protein level of development, and how it, how the rest of your body forms, all the actions and things, it carries over to every part of your body. So if you've noticed long spindly hands, long tiny thin nails, issues with muscle tone, kind of like how to walk, all these different things, they're all somehow tied to it.
The gene cannot read the instructions correctly, somehow got interrupted in development. So it's a de novo variant, which is spontaneous. And so the cells in her body weren't able to develop properly. We also know that sometimes when she's this high and excitable, it can be a little harder.
How often is she this excited?
Several times a day. Because her high, so for some kids on the spectrum, it can be the opposite, where they can be on a lower mood, like a more of an anger or frustrating. Hers is the opposite, so we see stuff when she's excitable. So for us, this is actually when it can get hard to redirect her, is when she's
Would you like to sit down?
this excited. Can you sit down? Hey, sit down, please. Thank you. Good job. Hey,
Thank you for letting me have some gummies.
can you take a breath?
Tell me
Good
about that,
job.
taking a breath.
We've worked with her on taking a breath when she's excited.
Do you want to take a breath with me?
Show Chris how you breathe. Good. Again, another breath. Can you hold my hand? Do you remember the slap me high, slap me low?
Yeah.
Slap me high,
Yeah.
slap me low. You're too slow.
Slap me high. Slap me low. Too slow.
Wow.
Do you want to do it to me now?
Do it to him.
Because why
Do it to him. No. Do it to him. We're doing slap me highs. Slap me highs. Good job.
I'm going to slap you low.
Ready?
Oh!
Tell Chris, say you're too slow. Say, you're too slow.
Because there could be a
No,
monster.
Say, you're too slow.
You're too slow.
There you go. Good job. So then you see, like, when she does the right, then we reinforce that by saying, hey, good job. That's what I was asking you to do.
Press it. Why do you can't help the cactus?
He's going to ask you a few questions. Can you say, sure?
Sure.
Daelyn, I have a question for you.
Why you can't touch the cactus?
Hey, Daelyn. Hey, Daelyn. Daelyn, can Chris ask a question? Can I see this?
Can I blow bubbles?
How about let Chris ask his questions, then you'll have more bubbles. How about that?
Why we can't touch
No,
the...
let him ask the questions. Chris is going to ask questions. Can he ask questions? Say, what's your questions? Uh-oh.
Was it a learning curve with understanding Daelyn?
Yes. Yes, and I don't think, and I don't know if I'll ever like 100% like I don't know. Can you really like 100% understand anybody? But what I do know is that every day I learn a bit more. There's more to her innocence. There's more to her interaction. There's more to her silliness.
Dad,
Yes.
can you hear me?
I can hear you. So.
Boo!
She's not a set thing hard as she's not a set thing you just described like, hey, you learned everything there is. It's like, no, she's sometimes she has struggles and you realize like little by little you're getting a greater understanding of her resilience, her strength, her endurance.
Daelyn, here's a question for you. What's your favorite food?
There's pizza.
Legit. What kind of pizza?
Pizza.
Here's another question for you.
I thought to go smile.
Hold on.
What's your favorite animal?
It was a lion.
A lion. Wow. What does a lion say?
Wow.
We're not buying a lion now.
Can I look
He's got another question.
Can I just look at the lions?
I'll show you lions, yeah. But can Chris ask another question?
What's your favorite color?
Green like my shirt.
Wow! That was good! Green like my shirt. That was so good! Your shirt is green.
Why you can't touch the
That's been her favorite color since she could tell you colors. So it's been very consistent.
Look at the lions.
We can look at the lions later.
As you were watching us interact, was everything she was saying and even doing, like feeding me, an attempt to connect positively?
Yes.
Chris.
Hi, Daelyn.
Why you can't touch the cactus?
Why can't you touch the cactus?
It's pokey.
Oh! That would hurt. Pokey. Ah!
Would you touch a cactus?
Yeah.
Wait, what? Would you touch a cactus?
Yeah.
Daelyn, are you sure you want to touch a cactus? Are you sure?
It's very
What would happen if you touched a cactus? Would it hurt or would it feel good?
When it hurt, we can't
It would
touch
hurt,
the
that's right.
cactus with spikes.
Daelyn, knock knock.
It's why you can't touch
Hey,
the
he's telling you, listen, he's telling you a knock knock joke.
Knock knock.
You say, who's there?
It's me.
It's Daelyn.
So we're learning with jokes that we can't give away the punchlines. You gotta actually go through the rhythm
Hi,
of the
Daelyn.
joke.
We
One of
can't
my-
touch the cactus with spikes.
No, that would hurt.
One of my favorite things about her is her ability. She's in a really excitable state right now, but her ability to show compassion and empathy is so profound. When one of us is sick or injured, she will follow you around and try to make you feel better and fix your boo-boos and make you feel better and hug you and wrap you in blankets and stuff like that. So it's really cool.
With Daelyn turning 16, are you two starting to make plans for her adulthood?
I think that's been the
Yes.
hardest thing. Well,
yes.
Yes and no?
Yes and yeah. So
it's
yes
shifted.
and no. Right. So the repeated periods of mourning where you thought, certain things would be a possibility. Like, so now everything it's weird kind of planning, right? It's almost like, how does the estate or how does something take care of her after I'm gone? Like, I can no longer work, or I'm not making, I passed or whatever. Like, how does that, work? I used to struggle a lot with, the feeling like, well, I can't ever get sick, I can't ever get old, and I can't ever die. It's like, if not, then what happens to her? It's like, she's not going to last much longer. So it's a constant fear of like, for a long time, I had a hard time describing that to somebody. It's like, you ever fear getting old? Not because you're getting old, because like, if you can't produce anymore, like, what happens to her? It's like, it's not like, oh, you're accepting you're getting older, or accepting that kind of stuff. So so there's a constant planning for that, and there's only so much you can plan, because most plans never actually work out the way you want them to, right? You have a good enough plan, there's some things, some audibles you pull, and the plan works through. Well, when you're not around to make that audible, so the plan happens without you. And that's the scary thing, is like, how do you create a plan that you can't, guide?
What is it like to have a sister like Daelyn?
It's good, and like, it's good because like, she's loving and she loves like the simple things like hugs, but it's just, sometimes I just wish I had like a bigger sister, like somebody that could drive me to school or something, but she's still like really nice, loves simple things.
What are some things that a lot of 16-year-olds can do that your sister struggles with?
Probably like being able to stay late when I'm like at friend's house and she's there too, or like just when there's a whole crowd of people and stuff. She just doesn't like a whole bunch of noise and like a whole bunch of people talking at once. It's just hard for her.
What's your favorite thing to do with Daelyn?
Normally like swimming in the pool, like we'll play like tag, Marco Polo, and a whole bunch of fun things.
Marco!
Polo!
I have.
What would you say is the most important thing for others to understand about Daelyn?
Not to underestimate her, like feelings, because she does have feelings, and it's hard for people to understand that.
Has Daelyn always been able to communicate how she can now?
Not really. Like, not that long ago, like a year ago, she wouldn't tell you, like, when she needed to use the restroom or when she was mad or when she wanted things. Like, now she could tell you what show she wants, or, like, toys, or if she needs a hug, or if she's sad. So.
She'll tell you if she needs a hug?
Yeah, she'll tell you.
What will she say?
She'll just say, Mom or Dad or Lucas, I need a hug. Just walk up to you and give you a hug. She's a big hugger. She loves hugs.
Tell me about the level of care that Daelyn requires.
Oh, it's a full-time job. She gets OTPT once a week. You get speech once a week. And that's just the people who are under some sort of medical accreditation, right? Then there's the care of, you see, the day-to-day.
She's a one-on-one.
She's a one-on-one.
At home, we can get away with not having to be as an intensive one-on-one, but when we leave the house, someone has to be her person to anchor to 1,000%. But at home, just because she has the comfort, and that's another reason why we love having the farm and the animals, because she can kind of just go out and interact. She can find me up at the barn and just hang out. And so she can kind of regulate herself at home, but she's not independent enough. Yeah. So she comes to us to tell us she's hungry when she wants food. Sometimes we have to cue her. Drinking, we always have to cue her to drink.
So dehydration is like a real thing.
For her. Mm-hmm.
So she won't do that. So that it's constantly on there. So it's almost like you run through a list of things, like what would I need to do now you have to go through, have you done this? Let's go do this. Let's check this. You have to go to
We've
the
been
bathroom.
working hard
you have
on
to
getting
go.
dressed. Like
Yep.
getting dressed, being able to take your clothes on, putting your clothes on in order, take them off in order. Her shoes. We joke that she likes putting her shoes on the wrong feet because 100% of the time when you let her put her shoes on her own, it's always on the wrong feet. She went to a school for special needs kids, a private school for special needs kids after doing public school system for a few years. And then we decided at some point she was spending 36 hours a week in therapy, like ABA therapy. And we decided that we were going to pull her out of school and focus on life skills. We wanted functional communication to be and learning how to just live life, learning how to dress herself, and that just became a priority. We had to shift a lot of. Doesn't matter if she can read at this point. We just wanted to be able to lead a happy, fulfilling life.
What are you most proud of Daelyn for?
Just being caring and loving and always being happy.
Get the balls off your hair.
Did you just tell your brother to get the bubbles off his hair? Does she have a great sense of humor, putting the bubbles on your hair, then telling you to get them off?
My mom will tell like jokes to her and she'll tell them back to other people and she'll start laughing. She's like always laughing.
What do you think when she laughs?
Huh?
What do you think when your sister laughs?
It's amazing. She's always happy, no matter what.
What are you laughing at? Are you laughing at the bubbles you put in his hair?
The simple, everyday things matter. Every single milestone was celebrated. So it can get so easy to get caught up in the grief of the things she won't accomplish. But oh my gosh, the ceilings she's broke and the things that she has been able to accomplish, because we don't stop cheering for her. We don't stop advocating for her. That is like on the same coin of, the grief of like, but yeah, she's also shown us so much through that grief that she just keeps doing things. Yeah.
The pumpkin roll.
The pumpkin rolled? Where did the pumpkin go?
Because it rolled to town. Then Chet wants to call the Super Wings.
I want to watch this episode of Super Wings. It sounds really good.
Then I like to look at the camera.
Isn't the camera cool?
Hit it.
Do you see yourself there?
I'm going to take a picture with that.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, cheese!
I'm just looking at the photo booth.
How do you feel when you see yourself?
I just see yourself with the camera.
When you see yourself on the camera, are you happy, sad, or mad?
Happy.
I'm happy too.
Then it's time to call the Super Wings.
Let's call the Super Wings. Hi, Super Wings.
Yes, my also every friend to come to help.
Is that from Super Wings too?
Yeah, that's called the pumpkin roll. Why is it called the pumpkin roll?
When other people are introduced to Daelyn for the first time, what do you hope they think?
I hope that they think that they
Why
see
can't touch the cactus?
a girl that just genuinely wants to connect and communicate, and it might not be your neurotypical, organic, fluent conversation that we're used to.
That's what the pumpkin roll.
But she has a strong desire to connect, and so I hope they see that when they meet her.